Hello and welcome back, artists and designers. Today we are going to go ahead and try our hand at creating this surreal photo composite where we're trying to make separate images blend together a little bit. So we'll do this video in a couple steps. Let's dive in here and get started. So I'm going to do a new project, and whoops, there's my canvas over here. So we're going to do 12 inches by 9, make sure it's set to inches, 300 free resolution RGB, white background, and then go ahead and hit create on that. And there we go. We're going to dive in here. As a reminder, all of the images that we're using for this, the links are below. They're all from Pexels and Unsplash and a variety of different places, so we'll go ahead and use those. So let's place our first image here. So I'm going to go ahead and place embedded, and I'm going to go grab my country road image and pop that in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to scale this up a little bit and fill the screen. Now, if we want to be a bit fancier with it, you can go ahead up here and do edit and try and do the content aware scale, although it will not allow you to do that with a smart object. So a lot of these we're going to go ahead and convert them from a smart object to a dumb object or a raster layer for this particular purpose. I know you might have various opinions about that, but we'll go ahead and do that. So let's try that again now that we've converted that, and image and content aware scale. And now what that will allow us to do, you can kind of see it starts to get a little bit weird. It tries to keep your main subjects intact and just kind of fill in some of the gaps. It's not a huge difference, but it is kind of a fun new tool to check out. So I'd give that a try. Okay, we've got our first layer in here. Let's go ahead and add our second. So we're going to do File, Place Embedded. We are going to grab our Pear, place that in here. Let's pop that in. And you know what, while we're at it, let's go ahead and add this next one because we'll need this in just a minute. So let's do one more time. Whoops, I got to accept the change here. File, Place Embedded, and let's grab our window and our door and go ahead and pop that in as well. And we'll hit enter and leave that there. So we have three images when we look at this. We've got the country road, we've got the Pear, and we've got the window and the door. Let's go ahead and hide the window and the door for a minute. And let's grab our Pear right here. And we are going to go ahead and try to get rid of the background. So we could do this a number of different ways. You got the quick selection, magic wand, object selection. This is the newer tool here. Let's go ahead and just try this one and see how it does. So I'm going to click on that. And when I hover over this, give it a second. And it should, there we go. It's recognizing the Pear as the primary subject here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it should take another second. And there we go. It did a pretty good job of selecting that Pear right off the bat. It got a little bit of the background on that, a little bit of the shadow. If I don't want that shadow in there, I could hold down the Alt key and I could try and drag over that and see if it gets rid of that shadow a little bit. And I'm really not going to worry too much about the bottom because I'm going to do something else there in a little bit. So to me, that looks pretty good. If I wanted to go to select and mask, I could really refine that. But as long as the edge looks good, I'm going to go ahead and hit add mask layer, and boom, that's going to pop in like that and get rid of my background. And I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. So I'll go ahead and whoops, choose my selection tool, move this over here. Now, I don't really think I need the rest of this background. You can see my handles here to resize this are scaling to the overall image. So let's say I just want to go ahead at this point and get rid of this mask altogether because I can't see any reason for needing the rest of this. So I would like to actually apply this mask layer. If I right click to apply it and actually delete the pixels, it won't let me do it because again, it's a smart object. I'm going to go ahead at this point and just rasterize the layer. And now I should be able to go ahead and right click on the mask and apply. And that's going to actually delete the pixels because I really don't need them. There's no need for those right there. Now I can tell already the shadow I feel like is going to read a little bit more appropriately, and just the positioning if I flip and do a mirror image of this Pear. So if you wanted to get a mirror image, you just have to kind of click the corner, be in the process of resizing. When you click the corner, you'll notice the menu options up top will kind of change, and then I can right click and I have a whole bunch of options in here. One is flip horizontal. So go ahead and flip that Pear and put that right in here about where I want it. Again, I can see some weirdness happening at the bottom if I zoom in, but I'm not going to get concerned with that at this point because we'll fix that a little bit later. So let's put this over here and let's head over to our window and our door. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Now I want the window and I want the door, but I want them separately. So I could try to use my object selection or quick selection and go through, but I want to catch this frame as well. And I think, whoops, I got to pick the project here, and I can click this and hover over, and it seems to be grabbing it. Let's see what happens if I click. Give it a second, and yeah, it didn't get the frame. So here's what I'm going to do. Since this is a square, I'm going to Control D to deselect. I'm going to actually use my polygonal lasso right here, and this is going to allow me to get some straight lines. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I'm just going to click here because I want to get this frame too, and you can see the straight line comes off of it. Click, scroll down a little bit, and click right here, maybe a couple more clicks. So very kind of rough and dirty outline, but it's pretty much just straight lines, horizontal, vertical, pretty close to it, and you got to get the loop to close. You see the circle pops up there, and I can close that. I'm going to skip the mask. I'm literally just going to take my selection from this layer. I'm going to hit Control C or Command C, and then Control or Command V, and paste that, and I now have that layer or that door on its own separate layer, no mask, anything to worry about, and I have that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and call that door, and I'm going to go back to this layer, and I'm going to do the same thing with the window. Grab my polygonal lasso tool, and I'm just going to quickly rough selection of this. Not too worried about how perfect it is because we're going to do some distortion and warping shortly. That is selected. Make sure this layer is selected. If it's not, still have this one selected, and I try to do my copy. It's going to say can't do it, area's empty. So pick this, Control C, Command C, and then Command or Control V, paste it, and there we go. So now I have my window and my door are separate layers. I don't need this layer anymore, so I can go ahead and drag that guy to the trash can, zoom back out here a little bit, and if I start moving this around, whoops, okay, I'm going to click on the right option, scale my door, put that right here, something along the lines of that, hit enter, grab my window, same thing, put that over. I'm going to move this up in this corner, maybe go to the corner, rotate a little bit, put that up here, and add that in. And that looks about right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. In the next video, we'll talk about warping and kind of grouping this together. So place your images in there, go ahead and mask them out, crop them out as you like, get them so that they're on their own layers. And I'm going to recommend for this, we don't even bother the mask layers. Just kind of apply those masks and get rid of them so that they are just transparent individual images. All right, I'll see you in the next video.